We are live. Well, hello, everyone. Tuesday, show day. Welcome to the flow from Homeschooling Live. I said it. and
You
we are
did.
here with GP Walsh, and we're going to have this fun, amazing show. Look at them. These people are already here. Good morning, everybody. Penny and Ewa. How do you say it again? GP?
Ava.
Ava. I'm going to get
Yeah.
it one day. Okay. Good morning. Oh, goodness. What I thought I would do, I was just surprising GP and letting him know this, is that your show description, which that's another reason. I'm going to be reading what GP wrote on the light letter that he sends out. So if you are not a part of, like, on the list for the light letter to receive it, where we give you a little heads up about what the theme is, then you want to make sure you get onto that. So sign up by going to gpwalsh.com and then signing up for the light letter. It's a good one. So get to know what we're talking about and what we're doing. But today is so helpful and needed and necessary. Oh my gosh, it is called the peaceful puzzle, and it's how to find out who, what, all those goodies, how they fit into your life with ease. And I love that you titled this one when the wrong shoe fits. Like, how clever was that? and that's right, because sometimes the wrong shoe does seem to fit, but why does it seem to fit? And I think you touched on it here with the notes. So I'm going to read it to everybody. Good morning as everybody shows up here, and then we're going to dive into some questions. But I said, sometimes things that feel right aren't. Oftentimes we are so drawn to the familiar that we mistake it for the best. We have all sorts of associations with things. We draw comfort from people, places, and circumstances that have, in fact, long outlived their usefulness. I would love to see if anybody agrees with this or is experiencing this right now. Maybe it's even your menu, like a food diet or just a road that you travel to work. And, we'll get into those. We humans don't like change. This isn't all bad. Stability is nice. We like knowing our home, our mate, our job is going to be there tomorrow. But we humans also want to grow. So this creative tension between the drive to be safe and the drive to be free, we talk about that in your chakras, and the need to be safe, drive to be free, is the soul of the dynamism of every individual life. And that is a beautiful intro for this and how you say it. There's this, we want to feel safe. We need to feel safe. But then that familiar thing, maybe we resent it. Maybe we dislike it. Maybe it's not allowing us to grow. So to jump in with this,
We do.
What is the first inkling we get when the familiar is outgrown its purpose and it doesn't fit anymore?
I think the most graphic illustration,
All right.
the most graphic illustration is the teenager. They're still completely attached to the safety, right? And the comfort and the ease, and their laundry goes in the hamper and it comes back washed and folded, right? The food magically appears. And at the same time, leave me alone, God damn it, right? And it's a beautiful image of what goes on with all of us. Whenever we get ourselves in a situation where we get really used to it and we're comfortable, be it a job or a relationship or anything really, a place that you happen to be living, or people you happen to be hanging out with, and you don't want to let them go, and at the same time it's just like it's just that there's this feeling that's kind of pushing us onward. Unlike when we're hunter-gatherers and other animals on the planet, it was always the external environment that forced us, right? There wasn't enough food, so you kept walking until you found it, right? Right? Or it started getting too cold, so you tried to go where it was warmer. So it was always externally imposed. What's different about now and about the human being is that it's happening from the inside. It's being spurned from the inside. Something inside is moving us into new environments. And of course, we don't know where we're going to go, right? I'm not sure I'm going to like this. Can I get a preview? I mean, you want to see the travel video before you go, right? But it doesn't work that way. Once you've outgrown somewhere, you've outgrown it, and the only way you can stay there is that you literally try to kill off that drive for freedom, and just compress yourself as much as you can. That's the only way you can do. And that's where all illness comes from. It's traumatic. Physical illness comes from that. It is a stress that is not registered like the physical stress of our environments and things, or even stress at work. It's an existential stress that is there under the surface that we don't even feel, and yet it does manifest itself in all sorts of conditions. And in a relationship, and suddenly there's this outburst, right? You're angry and you have no idea why, because you're angry with the whole thing, right? Yeah. Right. So just think of it as your inner teenager.
Okay, we're gonna add that one to the chakras there. The aspects of
that's right. The bratty teenager.
It's funny,
Leave me alone. Slam.
I remember, and looking back, of course, this is the beauty of being able to look back. I remember getting into one of the biggest fights of my life with my mother and she never let me live this one down, because she wanted to change my bed sheets from summer sheets to winter sheets, or the other way around.
The nerve.
I know. It's like, but I want the flannelette. I'm still cold. She's like, but we're preparing. I was like, well, why are we preparing now? I'll be cold tonight. And I was like, and I remember holding the door shut. You're not coming in. I'm not coming up. And that night, I remember like the temperature, because parents know all these. And it's helpful when others have that wisdom, and they're trying to help us prepare. Like when they might have said, we've killed all the bison. It's time to travel with them. So it's so tricky when we rebel, because there's a time where I love that you said about we compress ourselves, and you say, no, the freedom, you don't need to have it. You can, then illness and stuff. But how is it we can detect or feel when it's like our parents trying to help us, or it's the other people trying to control us?
Well, it just takes experience and kind of getting to know yourself, right? So if you're compressing yourself out of shape, you don't know what you want anymore. I mean, it gets so suppressed, so buried, that you can't even own up to your own desires, your own feelings, your own instincts. And that's where you really get lost. I mean, it really is a soul disconnect. I mean, you've been disconnected from your own nature and compressed into this little jar. And I love my jar, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a nice jar, right? And then you get jealous if somebody else has got a bigger jar, right? But but that's what happens. We get compressed. We don't know who we are anymore, and then it kind of reinforces staying where you are, because it becomes increasingly frightening. Go where, right? Say, I really want to do something. What do you want to do? Then the very helpful self-help people come up. You got to know what you want. I don't know what I want. And you're not going to know what you want till you get out, right? Because you're not going to be making the decision anyway. It's a double bind that we end up getting ourselves into. And the only way I know out of it is some deep spiritual inquiry and honesty, right? Mm-hmm. To come to face with yourself, especially, if it's like a relationship and it's just not working for you. I mean, that's horrible. It's tragic, yeah. Right? Nobody wants that. Everybody wants it to be, roses and lovey for good, and sometimes it isn't. But without that honesty coming to the fore, it will deteriorate into bitterness, to resentment. Mm-hmm. But with the honesty, it can either be an amicable parting of the ways, or something brand new can get created. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's an acknowledgement that the old is gone. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's dead. It's kind of like the parrot sketch from Monty Python. Yep, it's dead. No, he's just asleeping.
Yeah. This is huge. When you said, when I was trying things together, my question is, when people say, "I don't know what I want," are they being honest?
Yes, they are, at the conscious level, because on a conscious level they don't know what they want, because what they actually want has been so squeezed out of them that even if it did appear, they wouldn't be able to recognize it.
Mm. Oh.
You become that's the disconnection that takes place, right? I substitute when I become somebody that I need to become in order to survive in the tribe, which we all did to a greater, lesser, or lesser extent. In that moment, I take on the characteristics of the tribe. I want what the tribe wants. I like what the tribe likes. I do what they do. I dress like they dress. I believe like they believe, right? And the more deeply I'm into that, the less there is of me, right? And the fact of the matter is, you can't get rid of that part of you, thankfully, mercifully, completely, or we would be complete. Well, if you could get rid of it completely, you could be a robot, and then you wouldn't care. You'd have no inner conflict. But the fact that you can't means that there's this annoying voice inside that's just not satisfied. That's the essential discontent we all feel, that we seek in things and people and places and states of mind and accomplishments and the like. What we really need to do is come back to the you that does know what it wants.
The annoying voice that you just talked about, because we all
You mean this one? You mean this one here?
Is that the voice that creates disease then? If we let that voice continue to say, "Oh, I wish they would stop doing that," or "I hate going to my job," or "I don't have enough money," or "I wish my friend was better to me," is that what brings about disease and stopping the flow?
The voice doesn't. The resisting of the voice does.
Oh.
That's the voice of yourself. That's your soul speaking. And if the only way it can speak to you is in a nasty, annoying voice, it will.
Oh.
No, that's the real you. The truth does. The truth is not necessarily polite.
I hope everybody heard that.
God did not take a vow of nonviolence. And that's it, because it feels annoying, because we're going down, we're in our little container, we're in our little thing, we're going in the direction we think we're supposed to be going, even though it's not you, it's not your life, it's not really what you want. And so there's this other voice here trying to tell you, dude, you're 2 chords low, right? And you're going, oh, you're so annoying. You're so annoying, right? And we're trying to push it out of the way. That's actually the voice, your real voice. That's the voice of original innocence, and that's why we don't recognize it. And that's why in mythology it's characterized as these demons and gargoyles and dragons and these horrible little things underneath there that aren't horrible at all. They're you.
Right. Yes. Oh, this is so fun learning this. And so. Okay, so we're being consciously truthful. I don't know what I want. But then we start doing some self-inquiry work, and we hear that not polite truth speak itself from our souls ourselves. And then we say, should we let everything in so then we can just pick and then choose, and so the perfect puzzle, the peaceful puzzle, right? Do we let everything in first and then go, oh, no, yes, no, or do we kind of just ask for what we want? We're back to that again.
Well, if there is enough intellectual honesty, enough consciousness to admit I really don't know, then the door is open to finding out what you do, right? Because in that moment, your attention and your energy is no longer going towards what you don't want. It's stopped. Now, maybe you don't know where you want to go yet, right? But at that point, you're like feeling it. No, it's not right. No, it's not right. And at first, if you've been really heading down this track, you may sit there at the no, it's not right for a very long time, because the only options and opportunities that are presenting themselves to you are the ones that came from the track you've been walking on, right?
Yes.
So, there's still all this momentum there. And they say, well, what about this? Well, what about this, right? How about this shiny object? You kind of go, no, that's not it either. But that fact, even though that's a sucky place to be, the very fact that you do know what you don't want is an indicator that down deep in there you do know what you want, because you'd have to, in order to be able to at least recognize that this isn't it.
Yes.
When I've written music, there have been times. Sometimes it flows and it's beautiful, and angels are singing, and other times it's like, no, that's not it. No, no. Because it's just, and it's kind of part of the plotting of it, right? Because something inside does know, and you're just, God damn it, I'm going to find it.
That's a fun one, because I'll be writing something, like, I write and I do different show descriptions of things, and I'll be writing, I was like, I want this in it, and then finally at the end, I've forced the puzzle pieces together enough that I work with it, but then at the end I go, it's not offering me what I want to express, and to squish up that paper, to crumple up the paper and throw it away is really hard. And
really hard.
So I wrote a thing that it's right, or sorry, that's not going to go to that one next. So what does it take to really crumple up the paper of all your choices that you've been making in your life, your whole life, or one big thing in your life, and you just got to crumple that paper up and throw it? Where do we go to find the courage and the love to do that? The safety, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it is through that thicket of not knowing. And once you become comfortable with that, because you can't just force it. If you really know it's time to crumple that thing up and throw it away, you can hold on to it for a while, but eventually, okay, it'll get heavier. For some reason, that little paper suddenly becomes heavier and heavier, right? It's just harder and harder to hold on to it. So, where does the courage is not something you muster and put on your cape. It just kind of happens because I can't go there. I can't go back there. It's just too painful. I die when I go there. And that's what it feels like. And so you don't. And you kind of sit in the middle. There's been a lot of things I've cut off in my life. And it's just, that was too bad. I should have, no. Oh, that was too hard. You could just, no. You just can't.
Right.
You just can't. And, it may take several iterations of going back to it and running into the same dirty water. It's like, oh, that wasn't a very good meal. That was a snack, not a meal. It may take several times of that happening. You realize it's not there. And that is the courage. Courage and wisdom go hand in hand, and wisdom only results out of the genuine experience, right? It doesn't come, because you read something about it and you're following the right steps. Spirituality is not a bunch of commandments. You throw those out, and you find that, and you find what's real, and it comes down to simply love your neighbor as yourself.
It just sounds so easy, but it's not so much. And it's funny, just even today, 3 people messaged me about, I guess the nicest way to say that, which I am being polite, is that they don't have a peaceful puzzle. And some people are even wondering to bring people back into their lives because it's been a request from other people they want in your life. and then you're going to feel guilty if you don't, and but there's this knowing that which aspect of ourselves would be the one to let people into the tribe or not. Is it the heart that has to talk to the tribe?
It's the heart. It's just an intuition. There's some people you just resonate with. And it doesn't mean you have to have this, magic resonance with everybody, right? There's a lot of people in our lives, they serve different functions. There's several lovely people at this one little drive-in coffee place I will go to occasionally, and they all know now. I've gone there enough times. Oh, you want your almond milk latte, right? So they know what it is, right? And there's a little exchange, and that's it. That's the whole thing. It's just a lovely moment. It's a lovely, and that is all it will ever be. That's all it ever needs to be. Then there's those others that are very, very close, right? Right? And there's a whole range in between. And if you just, as you know yourself more, it'll just be very natural where they fit in that energy spectrum, right?
Yeah.
And of course the beauty of it's a kaleidoscope. It's always changing over time. Somebody can move into the inner circle and then out again, right?
Right. Oh,
It's never static, right? And it doesn't have to be. I've had a lot of friends I was just so close to, and like. And who are you again? They're just, they've completely vacated. Others, I had some close friends in high school, and a couple of them, we actually still chat every now and then on Facebook or send something. I ran across one guy who's now living in India, right? And he's sending me little things. Another one in Hawaii. I mean, it's. There's a beautiful sweetness and a nostalgia that is actually a positive thing that comes about that, and again it is a natural flow. It's a natural ebb and flow, and if you and it all comes from you knowing you. If you don't know you can't possibly be able to assess. You'll be assessing everything on an artificial criteria. And that's where you get religions and their rules, and it's got to be like this, and it's got to look like that, and they got to talk like this, and you can't do these kinds of things. And then we're assessing our friends. Oh, they don't believe correctly. You can't be with them. It ends up getting, well, where are you? You're completely lost in that, right? There's no room for you there.
In the end, the peaceful puzzle is actually you. Like the image is you at the end. You're not fitting in somewhere. Yeah, I think we try to.
It is you, and you find that. This is a fun one, right? Every individual is the center of a puzzle. So I fit into your puzzle, and you fit into mine, and somebody else fits into mine, and then I fit into a bunch of others at different places, right? Right? So it is this huge multi-dimensional puzzle that doesn't have a center, or you could say everywhere is a center. Everywhere you poke it is a center.
Yes. What's your favorite you share that about the world, 7 billion or 9 billion? Oh, what is that?
What Muji says, yes. There's one world, there's one Earth, there's 8 billion worlds.
Yes. Yeah, I do love that. You said something in there that made me think about when we'll bring in religion or other set of rules, let's say it, that tell us what fits and what doesn't fit, and that's how we lose ourselves. And but at the same time, in that little description I was reading that you wrote, that's the flip side, that we are wanting that safety as well. So it's like, familiar. It's familiar, so it's comfortable and it feels safe, and I can count on it, and I know what's going to happen. Is there a time where, like incubation, like we need to be there for so long before we can jump out into the adventure wilderness again?
Yeah. Well, at first, up till the time you're about 15 and 16 and start rebelling, it's an absolute necessity, right? And that's why it becomes so powerfully ingrained in us. because in the beginning it is an absolute necessity. And the problem is most people never reach adulthood. Right? They remain a child of the tribe, right? And when you look at the story of Adam and Eve as it has been interpreted by Christianity, the sin was disobedience, right? And you were supposed to be subordinate, right? God was to be the eternal father, and you the eternal kid, right? It was there's nothing in there that allows you to mature into fullness, into even fellowship, let alone unity, right? And so this is the quest we have. That is the quest. That is the hero's journey. That is the whole spirit. The whole point of spirituality is to make that trip, right, out of childhood and into true adulthood.
You remind me of a woman I met once, and I'm sure there's many people like this as well. But she would really always say, "Well, I have to check in with my father." And I really, for quite some time that I knew her, I thought she really meant she was checking in with her father who created her, like this, like, a human being person.
Dad.
And and I just forgot to insult anything there. And so whenever she did, and I thought, my goodness, like, she's got to be almost 50. Was she really just checking in with her? But then she had a Bible with her one day, and she patted it, and my God, checking with my father. And I was like, oh my gosh, this whole time I couldn't.
This whole time.
But are they really maybe saying too? They're checking in with themselves and how their soul is speaking to them.
Well, when you grow up, yes, that's exactly what you do. You find out that the Father, that God is actually the essence of your own being, is the truth of you. And so the truth of God and the truth of you are not two, right? And so now you're checking into a much deeper place. Prior to that, it's very infantile. You're checking in with a bunch of rules to see if your behavior is going to conform to what you've been told to do. That is childish. It is the tribal. That is the nature of the vast majority of religions. They just never have gotten out of the infantile stage.
Checking in with rules was so big. It's like, okay, I've got this new puzzle piece. I found it. Let me check to see if it will fit, as opposed to putting it in.
Just stick the damn thing in there and see if it works. Yeah,
Right.
That's right. No, is it okay? Is it allowed to fit? Is this the right size? Is this the right color?
Yes.
It looks like it's going to fit. Oh no. Oh no. That's what we do. We substitute that the tribe for authenticity.
It's
That's what happens.
Some people are saying, "Oh, but you know what? I would love to get a divorce, but my family just loves my spouse." And the tribe has said, "Yes, this day." You're going, but it's not. Or job, where how many people are in a job where they absolutely it makes them sick, but yet the tribe has said, "You make good money. You can't leave. I mean, it's stable. It's
Yeah, that's right. What are you, crazy? There's no jobs now. You're not going to get anywhere. You bum. Right? I mean, yeah, this is what happens. This is the pressure on us to conform, and it's dominant, and because its energy is coercive and enforcing, right? It's the lowest form of power. It's the one that the lowest form of power lovers gravitate towards. Those are the kind of people that end up in governments. They want that force. They want to be the enforcer, right?
Yes.
That's the God of the tribe is the enforcer, right? You don't love the tribal God. Yahweh is not a lovable character. You worship him, you fear him, you don't love him, right? But he loves you. Daddy loves you. This is going to hurt me more than it does you. No, it's not.
Yeah. Yes, that's so interesting the way you said the God of the tribe, because I heard it in the aspects of the chakras that each one has its name.
Yes.
And there would be, you're right, there would be a God to each one of those aspects, except for love.
Uh-huh.
And it wouldn't. So I guess everything from love and above or around, whatever,
Well, I have done done exercises through the chakras. If you say, okay, you just be purely the tribe now, safety, survival, continuity, right? Okay. Now, what does God look like to that?
Yes.
What does love look like to that? What does money look like to that? What does relationship look like to that? What does career look like to that? Suddenly you can see all of a sudden now it's going to look from the perspective, from that point of view. That's all you're going to see. Okay, now what does it look like from the point of view of the nymph? What does God look like from the point of view of the heart? What does it look like from the point of view of the sage? The same essence, right? Being seen through, I often call it the seven eyes of the soul, the different perspectives, different lenses through which you perceive things. But what you are perceiving, right? Now, right, it's the same thing being perceived from seven different points of view. And what is it that's being perceived? You.
Wait. What is being perceived when you're perceiving from all those points of view, and each one is you? Oh, wow, that went.
What is it?
You're sneaky.
What is it? I snuck that in on you. Right, well, what is it that's, yeah, they're all looking at something, they're all seeing it differently, but what is it that is being looked at, that is being perceived differently? There is something there. There's the truth to it. That truth is you. That's the real meaning of God.
Wow. That's beautiful. That's so helpful. And it's also to show that not just one point is right, correct, the truth. It's all of them.
Yes. Yeah, it's a perspective. And what happens, the whole point I try to make during the chakras is what happens is that you get attached to one and deny another. So the emphasis gets put on the tribe. When it gets put on the tribe, the others get denied. So the nymph now becomes the sinful, fallen nature and all of that. The storyteller or the sense of identity has to be completely subordinated to the will. There is no individuality there, right? It is all the tribe. And then if I become that and identify with that, I will take up that role. I will be judgmental, and I'll make laws and rules and all those kinds of stuff, and I will not have access to these other parts. But if I see them all as different functions of the same beautiful whole, suddenly they can flow from one to another, right? And sometimes that tribal energy, that safety is the most important thing in the moment. So it takes the lead, and then it steps back. And now the playful nymph can, the gallant player, the visionary. There's just so many aspects to human consciousness that it gets lost, that gets restricted because of this incredible focus on one aspect over another. And if we look at it just from the whole of humanity, the tribal aspect has been developing for thousands of years, right? With little, pops, the sages have emerged, romantic love has emerged, the real saints, the real heart-based people have emerged, right? But but this thing has been kind of trudging along, right? And what we're seeing now is the collapse of that. We're seeing the end, finally, of the whole tribal period, I think.
A question comes to mind about I get how we're moving forward, coming back. So now this is okay. Now you take turns over here. What happens when we've made a vow? Say a mother has a child, and now that vow is, I'm dedicating my life to taking care of you, making sure you're safe. I'm now the tribe, but then that mother wants to travel and be a little unsafe, just go out. So what happens when we have a conflict? Wants to go back to work. And just that conflict when we make a vow.
Yeah. Well, that's not the deepest kind of vow. Those are much more primal, much more on the level of the unseen, the invisible world underneath. Whenever you make a big decision like that, when you have a child, yeah, it is a completely different dynamic, right? And And you can't just, just, toss it all to the wind, say, here, wait here, I'll be back in a week. I'm going to Bali, right? You can, but by any stretch of the imagination, that would be irresponsible. That wouldn't be merely tribal. That would, the heart level would echo that same sentiment, right? So it becomes an extremely important thing to discover for yourself how to find your own flow, how to find your own balance, how to not be lost in the mother, be nothing but the mother. That's not healthy for the kid either. Right? They need examples of developing, active, lively, alive parents, right? Otherwise, they won't know how to be anything other than dullards, right? So there's a need for that constant growth, or your soul just withers, right? Unfortunately, we live in a time, and because of the nature of the tribal rules we've all lived under, once that happens, the tribe now is enforcing what you're supposed to be. This is what a mother does. This is what the father does. And of course, you don't have any choice in that matter. And that's what's consistently happened. What can then result is a rebellion against that, which is the beginning stages of actually finding some balance, but a rebellion against that, in which case they can become negligent. Because they haven't really found the right flow. It's still quite reactive. So the bottom line is, no matter what comes, I've made a lot of decisions in my life, and I thought, oh God damn, I wish I hadn't have made that, right? But now I've got it. Okay, and I just can't, like when I had children, I was young, I was stupid, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But once it happened, what do I do now? I don't know what to do, but I know I got to take care of them. And I just did whatever I could, and they turned out really, really good. But that's the only guidance I had. I mean, my family was useless. Their mother was useless. I mean, it was like, what do you do? But along the way, I managed to not lose me. I managed to still play music. I still kept things up. I had friends. I had relationships. I did stuff. We did stuff together, right? All sorts of stuff I did with the kids. Learned how to fly airplanes, and the three of us flew all over the place together. And my youngest son even got a pilot's license because of it. So you find the ways to keep things alive. And my son said to me the other day, we were at a ceremony, some kind of a ceremony together, and they asked him what he was grateful for, and one of the things he says, I'm really grateful for my father for always introducing me to big ideas. So that's the gift that you have. They don't have to think like you, but I'm going to expose them. You want to expose it. So if you don't develop those in yourself, what the hell do you got to give them, right?
Yes, I love that. That's that's a good word. Developing them. So, that was perfect. And I want to say hello to everybody coming on, and I won't let this one. This is a good one. Developing what's already in you. And so it's not, we talk a lot about inner reconciliation. We've been talking about reconciling, getting along with, putting the puzzle pieces together. But developing is actually a beautiful word here, because we'll hear a calling, we'll hear that little nudge, that little like, ooh, I wonder, curiosity. And maybe you'll hate it, who knows? But maybe you have to try fiddleheads. I don't know, it's like, which I do.
It's love. Like, oh, what was I thinking?
Or they're kind of scary, but you're interested. But developing because I am going to talk about the course and just invite people to sign up. If you maybe you do, GP, I don't know, but if you had a course on developing yourself, your aspects, what would it be focused around? How do we do that? Because it's not this is not self-help, you guys, not self. What are we taught? What are you talking about?
Well, it's self-discovery, right? in order to discover who you are, you've got to clean out all the stuff you're not. So you have to come to see all the things you've believed about yourself that are not true. And there's some very deep assumptions that aren't just in the head. They're literally embodied in the entire nervous system as physical structures, as conditioned patterns, as programmed responses. It's not just thoughts. There's a whole momentum, a whole programmed being, right, that has developed over time as an interaction with the environment that's not you, right? And so your job is to rediscover you, and in the process that recreates a new environment in which the development can take place. And it does happen that gently and that naturally. It's not the kind of thing you have to force. As I say to people, you don't, yes, we're going to just dispose of every false belief you have about you, but we're not taking any new ones on. We don't need to do that. We're not going to replace it with better beliefs. We're not taking any of them on, right? As Nisargadatta put it beautifully, says, just drop false ideas. That's all. There's no need for true ideas. There aren't any.
That is so beautiful. Please, everybody, if that really got for you, that was the one for you. That was so good for me. And it's also easier. You make things very. You said this is the lazy man's
religion.
That makes it so much. Like, I was writing down assumption cleanup, but I like that you said disposal of false beliefs. And
yes.
Once we remove those, we are only left with the truth.
You're only left with you. Yeah.
Here I am.
Yeah. What's left is you, which is the truth. Yeah. Right? We're just after the truth of you, not some, special, the truth. Oh, right. Nothing. It's just you. Just want nothing left but me. That's all.
And then things flow, and that's what this is called, the flow, because then it flows. There's no speed bumps. Like false beliefs are almost like speed bumps. And you might remember which one I started with.
And the big ones, not the humps, not the ones that are, the big ones. Yeah. And potholes, and it's
the ones that could rip your undercarriage right out. You know what, you guys, I wanted to, GP has so many courses. He has so many free ones, paid ones, one-on-ones, and it's just fun to look around. You not only have we've got a lot on the website which you can explore, but you are also with Thinkific at the moment. Moment, you are there, and there's lots of courses to choose. I just want to. Do you remember the one I started very first? Something with touch.
The power of touch. That was the free EFT course. Yeah.
Yes, you guys, you must check this out. That one actually, that was changed my life. I was having a gallbladder attack when I decided to. It was like I couldn't really do anything anyways, other than lie there and be in pain. And
might as well listen to something from G. Nothing else I can do.
Great voice. And I remember though, it was the most perfect one to listen to because it was dropping assumptions. I didn't even know that I had false assumptions. Like I was like, come on, GP, I do not. But really, we all do.
Which itself is a false assumption.
Yes, exactly. So there's so much to be invited to, but let's focus on this. Other than signing up for the light letter, which at least puts us in contact so we can share with you all the goodies. But you've got your course, the Inner Reconciliation Level 1 coming up, where it's not only a course for you to, experience this, but you also can become a teacher, decide how far you decide to go with this, but you could be helping others with this. And you won't be able to not, you just are so excited to run around helping people and suffering, be happy. And so, and with that, there's some homework to do, some prerequisite work to be done before the course starts in September. So you will want to get signed up, registered, begin that so you can start doing this work. And Penny, who is here with us this morning, she has pulled together a beautiful study group, whether you want to do it as a group or you want to be paired off and just have somebody doing it, so just one-on-one, or just somebody to, group to check in and say, okay, am I on point here, am I getting it all done, so that when you do come to the course in September, you'll be all set, and really it's more of a master's class, not master class, but master's class. so we want to invite you to go there to sign up now. Oh, it's not on our little screen here, but I do believe we go to the website. So gpwalsh.com/IRFFF.
FFF.
FFF. Three of them. Three F's.
In a row.
Yes. And so inner reconciliation and foundation. There's an F in there.
Yeah. Foundation for Facilitation is what it stands for.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, Mary is with us. She says that she was so meant to be here, so we are very happy to have you here as well. And I see that Susanna from Creative Revolution, she's got us live on speakers in a shop in Gozo. So hello, everybody listening.
Hello, everybody in Gozo. Gozo, Malta. Yay.
And then Mark is... this format works beautifully. A better flow. Oh, very nice. Thank you, Mark. We're happy that you guys are able to tune in here and be with us. Bernadette, good morning. Plyan and look at all these things. Everybody's having wonderful comments. She was laughing at the not always polite, that God or truth is not always polite. We have Peter from Italy. Truth loops. Yay. David and Elaine. Hello, Rosario. And I think Dorothy. Yes. Is that right?
Dorte.
Hello from Denmark. Yes. And then Merck and Jeff and Sylvia. We've got them. We love when people, Robbie. I love when people show and say hello. It's really nice. And if we have any questions, we'll do a scan through as well. But this one was the peaceful puzzle, just really taking a look at, I like dropping assumptions. Maybe nobody belongs here, in your peaceful puzzle. Maybe everybody belongs there. And then to find out when we say what feels right, GP, where are we asking? What part of ourselves are we asking? It's like, does this feel right?
Wow, what an amazing question. Because, sorry, I got something in my throat. We oftentimes confuse feeling with thinking. We say, well, I really feel, and what I really mean is my opinion is, right? It's not a feeling at all. We have to kind of probe into the depths of it, because our feelings too have been programmed. Our feelings too have been conditioned over time. So, how we feel about things, the way we react to them, right? So our emotions are closer to the truth than thinking is, because they're visceral, they're felt, they're more lifelike, whereas thoughts are all completely representational and conceptual. So you don't feel thoughts, right? They don't feel. So they're even a further step removed, abstracted from just the experience of life. So coming to know what you really feel is which is the natural wisdom of the body, the natural wisdom of the nervous system. And you can't really get to that until there's been enough inner healing to take place that you're beginning to feel the way your body naturally feels when it's not under stress. We do not realize that right from the get-go, there's this creative stress that's going on, and the body can handle it. It's responding to the environment in the best way that it possibly can. But when so much of us is getting squashed out, where you're not allowed to express yourself, that is a tension that is now not going towards a creative interaction with the environment. That energy is all focused in keeping you hidden. It's keeping the real you from coming out, because it's dangerous for you to come out. That's a different kind of stress, and it creates the same kind of problems later on in life as the stress from work and stuff is, but it goes completely undetected. So again, I'm I'm Johnny One Note here. I don't know one note, right? And that is, the only remedy is to know yourself. We have to do the Ramana. Somebody asked Ramana Maharshi, he said, "Go back the way you came." We have to turn around and start that journey back inward, past all the conditioned, the programmed responses, the fears, the doubts, all the way down to their origin, right? How they got started and why, and then go beyond them into that place of the pure peace. Go beyond the dragons, go beyond the demons, go beyond the gargoyles, right? That are all waiting there to, to distract you, and go right past them to the treasure, which is the originally innocent you, which is still there, because that's the good news. You can get the hell squeezed out of you, but it cannot kill you. You cannot be destroyed, and that's the voice that's speaking. And the way I show people to do that is you start with your feelings. You start by simply letting yourself feel what you're feeling when you feel it, without judgment. Right? And you'll notice all the habits where you immediately want to put self-help all over it, right? Negative emotion, let me get rid of it, visualize, right? I'm going to go on my gratitude walk, right? All the things we try to do to try to get rid of those feelings. And those feelings are you. They are, in fact, the very power that you're seeking, right? They're not available. They're squeezed out of shape. So you simply start by feeling, And then I'll do a little thing I call intentional triggering, where I'll purposely bring something up that will cause a reaction in the system. And it brings you to another level of mastery of being able to be present with the feelings when they're not comfortable, right? And then you find out, oh, they're really uncomfortable. I don't like it in one bit, and it's not killing me. Look at this. I'm okay. And you can keep going. And in that process, you are creating the safe space in which all of the nasty stuff can come up and go out, and you can get access to the gold, which is the depths of feeling that is the reality of your life. And that's where all the real joy and passion and fun and intimacy and all the good stuff is there. Unblemished, unmasked, unapologetic, running naked like a little kid.
That was magical. I did not even, I'm glad you recognized the beauty in that question, because that was incredible. And what that brought, one thing I love that you said, you're like,
I don't, available. I just say whatever comes to my mind. It's really that simple.
What you said about intentional triggering, there are some people, and actually I'm trying to think, even in my life, I'm really uncomfortable being uncomfortable, so I don't often do it, but I know that a lot of people welcome a sad experience or traumatic. They want to talk, they prepare themselves. No, they don't. They want to relive it maybe, or talk about it, or say it. Is there a safety? How do you create that safe place to do it? Because some people do it and they're just living it and going through it again, and I can't even handle hearing. Sometimes I'm like, why are you talking about this? It's hurting you.
Yes. For some people, that is a way of just of trying to turn it into an ego experience. They can be proud of it.
Yeah. Or justify.
It can be because they're trying to get some kind of an attention out of it, yes, to give themselves some kind of emotional soothing that the attention would give them, right? Because if you really are with that sadness or loss or grief, and genuinely with it, it will culminate and dissolve, and it'll just turn into a memory, right? Without the charge. The beauty will still be there. The whatever it meant to you will still be there, but that sense of having something ripped away from you won't be. And so I think people just kind of go over and over it again because what they really want is a soothing, right? But they're afraid to actually go directly to the sadness itself, right? And conversely, people seek these peak experiences, bungee jumping and, jumping out of a helicopter on skis and all the extreme sports, right? While I admire the skill, right? I know what they're doing. They're trying to feel alive. They're trying to get back in touch with an authentic feeling. And one of the great ways to do that, and they've known this in rituals for a very long time, is confront somebody with death.
Yourself, though, like confront
Well, that's what they're
your
doing.
death.
Of course. If you see some of these extreme sports, the things that they do, some guy riding a bike 10,000 feet, on this tiny little cliff, it says, yeah, he's confronting death. Somebody freestyling up the side of a mountain, climbing without ropes or anything, just their bare hands, right? Climbing up the side. They are facing death, right?
Is it good?
And it's in that space, in that space, they feel whole, right? Well, you don't have to do that, right? And in fact, it probably isn't going to turn into spiritual awakening. Because it is misguided. But on the other hand, it is courageous. It is getting to a place to have that experience. The most important thing to see about it is how much having that experience means. What it means to feel alive.
That was so huge. That actually, that's a personal one to me, because there are a few people in my life right now who are wanting to do the big grandiose confronting death and to defy it kind of situations. And I love that you said, it in and of itself, that adventure or thing is not going to probably be turned into this spiritual awakening or experience.
I can guarantee that it won't. Only self inquiry will do. The same thing is true with plant ceremonies. They can take you up to that door, and you can have these profound experiences, but they will not enlighten you.
Right. And I love that you said you had a tail end on that. That it's the self inquiry about how that.
You have to, because there's the question in all of those. You're having this experience. It's extremely profound, but who are you? Who is it that's having an experience? That question isn't being asked, and that's the only door that's going to lead you to who it is that has the experience. What is this consciousness, this point of cognition? To which every experience, however mundane or however thrilling, is appearing. Right? That is not the same as the experience. And I only know one way to know what that is.
That was beautiful and helpful. I just noticed the time. So
oh wow.
There are some questions, though, if we could, GP, if you don't mind, just
sure.
A couple extra minutes here. And
I'm sorry. I got important things to do.
Business meeting after.
I got a business meeting here. Rump.
Let's go. And I just caught this question at the very end, and I'll go backwards, but I do like this one. Nasrin is asking, listening to various spiritual teachers lead to confusion?
When the spiritual teachers are confused, yes. I mean, if there's a bunch of people that you listen to with me. If you listen to me, or Francis Lucille, or Adyashanti, or Muji, or Rupert Spira, or Gangaji, and there's a few others, you won't get confused because we're all saying the same thing. Right? But if you start listening to a bunch of different ones, right, then you might get confused. And I don't want it to sound flippant, because I never want to tell you, don't listen to them. You have to listen. But if and feeling confused isn't necessarily a bad thing. I hear a lot of people who used to be fundamentalist Christians saying, I was getting really confused, right? And they pursued the confusion to try to get to its end, rather than just retreating. Go, no, leave me alone in a little bubble. They felt something there. So it's not like I can say, no, only listen to me, right? You have, because it's you. You're going to have to discover these things for yourself. So you can't just say, no, I'm not supposed to listen to that. But when you listen and it's confusing, and be curious about it. Okay, why is this confusing? So he's saying something different than him. Are they both saying the same thing, just so differently that I can't tell it's the same thing? Or are they saying something different? And if they're saying something different, then what is the difference? And at that point, you go, okay, well, which one of these is true, right? And now you're at a nice, solid place to take a big step forward because you've just done the inquiry for you, right? Because nobody can tell you it's true, right? I can't tell you it's true. All I can, I can't give you an answer. All I can do is point to you and say, you are the answer.
I love that. I hope that helps. That does help. And confusion. If there's conflict, then there we go. And I like that. Curious. Lots of C words here. Be curious.
Yeah, lots of C words. Yeah.
So that you
good
can
C words. Good C words.
And Mary's asking about the light letter, which we mentioned. That's our.
You're already on it, Larry. You're already on it, Mary.
You're already on it, Mary.
You're already on it. Yeah, it's just every week I send out the newsletter that's got some things in it, and specifically telling about what the show is going to be this week. And sometimes I don't get it out till the morning of, but we do try to get things done in advance. Mark just made a good point, because he said there are a few non-dual teachers who take the heart out of spirituality, making it purely an intellectual exercise. Yeah, when I talk about not being afraid of that confusion, it's also confusion of the heart. Sometimes it doesn't feel right? The maybe they have a big following, they're really highly regarded. And you kind of go, it's like that's good. That's part of the inquiry, right? And sometimes people do appear to be way more than they really are. I've gotten a lot of criticism from people, just sometimes even nasty, about how I'm not a pure non-dual teacher like somebody else. And somebody the other day showed me somebody criticizing Mooji and Papa G for not being true to Ramana Maharshi. Says, well, who? So you are, I guess, right? So it's like, but even if that was the case, you don't go by whether or not somebody's reputation is that they got it. You listen with your heart, right? The true teacher will not lead you astray. They will not abuse you. They will not take advantage of you. They will not diminish you or belittle you in any way. They will constantly remind you that you are who you are, the self. You are the glorious, wonderful, pure beingness. You are the creature of light. That is what you are. Nobody can change that. Anybody who tells you otherwise, and that's a non-dual expression.
It's very singular.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Oh.
Yes, it's one. We're all one.
Yes. Oh, that was wonderful. Now, just a reminder for everybody, three quick reminders. This is the Flow. This show right now is called The Flow, and it's by our Homeschooling Live. So we typically pick a theme and then kind of run through it. Sat Song on Sundays, which was yesterday, is where G usually on YouTube does a lot of questions and answers and all that fun stuff. And there's still another option. We have a patron program. It's only $15 a month. And the really cool thing about that is not only does that get you in front of organized content, but GP also does like a VIP session just for you guys, like just the patrons, where you're live in Zoom or StreamYard, wherever, in video, where you can have that interaction. So we will answer we'll go through and see if there's any questions to take care of here. But I just wanted to share with everybody that there's so many opportunities to still continue to get your questions answered. And you can also have a one-on-one session with GP, which I know that you're going to go deep and get dropping a lot of assumptions during there. So lots of things to go through. But GP, did you see that one question? It's with
From David?
Well, yes.
Yeah, the short answer is yes. If it does carry that kind of authority and you recognize it as such, the voice is coming from the self to the self. That's exactly what I experienced at 19 years old on the bridge. I had no idea what it was, but I had no choice but to obey it.
Wow. Oh, I love No
It was
choice.
much later that I actually realized what had happened. Much later, because it was just this disembodied voice. And I mean, I knew it was coming from inside or outside. Was it God? I mean, I had no language. I didn't know what the hell it was. It was just true, and it was benevolent. So I recognized the spirit and the power of it. So yes, it is.
Beautiful. I love that. Actually, you know what? If you'd like to hear GP's full story, there are quite a few interviews now with those stories. We can post. I'm thinking of two of them right off the top of my head. But GP, we should get you to actually just. We'll have you do a what's that thing where you just get to talk about your experience yourself? What's it called? Memoirs or something, you know? A solo one. But variant, we call it, well, you referred to it off the night on the bridge. So if ever you hear GP mentioning the night on the bridge, that is your story of the biggest, I guess, the
That was the
awakening.
that was the
First.
it was certainly had the biggest impact on my life, but there was way more to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Maybe
it
we'll pop
was
it up on the.
it's what saved me from
Yes.
a disaster. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Again, maybe we'll pop that into the website at some point. This is a good reminder for us all. But we love showing up here. So every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, we are here in the group. If you are not in the group and you're coming from YouTube, please be sure to come on over to the group in Facebook. It's called GP Walsh Spiritual Teacher. It's a private group. We'll let you in. Yeah, I guess we will.
We will let you in. Yeah.
but more than anything, just get onto that light letter so that you know where we are, where GP is, and how you can have help being guided, pointed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Truthfully, if you want to know where the website is, just gpwalsh.com. It's really easy. Yeah.
Easy that way. And check out the course that's coming up, because we're doing lots of work ahead of time. But in September, the IR, the Inner Reconciliation course will begin. So well, thank you everybody so much. Thank you everybody. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Wonderful. See you next time.
Bye.